Hey yogis. So last week I did a post on Instagram of myself, shocker, doing Ekapada Bakasana, which is one-footed crow pose. And I got some requests on a tutorial for that pose, so here it is. So this is a really hard pose. I would be lying if I tried to tell you that it wasn't, or if I suggested that it didn't take me like 10 years to learn this pose, which is actually not even an exaggeration. It took forever. I just could not get, I couldn't get this pose, and I was walking around with giant bruises on the back of my arms for a really, really long time until I figured out how to do it. And there are a million YouTube videos on this pose. I know that because I've seen them all in my journey of trying to get it. And I recommend that you watch them all as well, but with the caveat of understanding that your body will sort of get it when it gets it. So you can try all of these things. I'll give you some things to try, give you some pointers. Other teachers will describe it in another way. Maybe something will click, and one day your body will get it. So, Ekapada Bakasana, what is it? Well, we all know what Bakasana is, right? That's our crow pose. Ekapada Bakasana is the one-footed variation of that pose, right? So we've got our Bakasana with that leg extended. So a couple of ways you can prepare your body for this pose. And one of them is to get used to being able to shift onto that one arm, right? And also, if you watched my crow pose tutorial, you'll know that there are different places for your knees. And you'll notice that when I showed you Bakasana, I brought my knees all the way up, right? Because that's where I like them when I'm doing my regular Bakasana, all the way up into my armpits. But then when I showed you Ekapada Bakasana, you'll notice that my knee went way down, right above my elbow. And that's because there's this little magic spot right above the point of your elbow where there's no muscle, right? So right here, right above your elbow point, there's this sort of like dead space that is really stable, right? Because when you try to balance your knee on your tricep, it's insanity, right? But then you can also line up that elbow point right over your wrist, so you've got that nice long bone stacked, right, with your knee right on that elbow. So that's the first thing for you to be aware of and to sort of integrate into your body, that there are these little magic spots, that's what you're going to be looking for, okay? The next thing is to transfer that weight left and right. And you can do this with either one of the variations. So if you're coming into, it's just a matter of getting used to having your weight on both, right? And then lifting up a knee and bringing it over and try to hold it. And then switching sides, of course. Then there's also the position of your hips. So oftentimes Ekapada Bakasana and Ekapada Kundinyasana get confused, right? So Ekapada Bakasana, which you just saw, my hips go up, up, up. Ekapada Kundinyasana, my hips sink low, right? So that's gonna be this one, right? My hips are low, my heart is low, right? And my leg goes out to the side. I am still balancing, and that is if you, that's a really good pose to get first because it's much, much easier, but it still allows you to get that feeling of balancing over to one side. The one thing I will say about that though is that make sure that you are not resting your rib cage on the other arm, right? So if my left leg is going out, I don't want to rest my rib cage or my hips. On this arm, I want them free so that I really do have the experience of being on that one side. Side crow is also a really, really good preparation for one-footed crow. And then to get your hips in the right spot, if you're on a floor, just use towel or socks. If you're on a carpet like I am, you can use a paper plate, or if you have a little slider like I have, you can do that. And essentially what you want to do is put your lower leg on the slider. I'll lift one leg up, so I'm in like a down dog here. And then I'm gonna slide. This is gonna help me use my core to pick up my hips, lay my knee right on that elbow, whoop, and start to lean forward and lift up that leg, right? And you can do little reps. Ooh, fun, right? Engaging your core and making that happen. So that's the pose. That's a few things to work on. Good luck. Enjoy the journey of it. Don't worry about it if it happens. It'll happen eventually, I promise. All things do. So practice and all is coming, right? All right. Good luck with that one. Bye, yogis.